What's going on, peeps? I thought I'd make a video just to kind of answer some questions that I saw in my comment section. There's a couple of videos back, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, one comment that I saw was like Q&A. This is, I guess this is a Q&A for me because they asked me questions about child support. I think it was Tony. He asked, can't you just answer the, tell them that you don't consent with an affidavit after you're already on child support? I wish it was that easy. Once you actually consented to being a part of the child support system by submitting those check stubs, the check stubs, the social security number, all that stuff. Keep in mind, what y'all have to realize is that the check stubs, social security numbers, and you submit those things, you're actually indirectly telling these people that you are acting as the trust. Not as the beneficiary of the trust, but you're acting as the trust. Okay? You have to express the trust. Now, I've known people to use a rescission of signature strategy. I've never done it before. I was never on child support, so I beat child support. So I didn't submit any damn thing. I killed it at the start. I mean, I can't make it sound like it was easy because it wasn't easy. Because it would be easy now because I know what I'm doing. When you're doing something for the very first time, it seems like it's kind of hard because they play with you like you don't know what you're talking about. But I did a lot of shit with it kind of mind. But to answer your question, I don't think it's that simple to just use an affidavit and say, I don't consent, after you've already consented to being on child support, to being a part of this scam they got going on that they call child support. But once you've consented, you submit the DNA, you do the DNA test, you submit any type of affidavit of, income affidavit or whatever, verifying how much money you're making or whatever, any type of thing that's concerning your income. Keep in mind you're using words like income instead of compensation. You got to look these type of words up and understand what it is, what they're really saying, okay? But that name in all caps, even when you have a job, they use your name in all caps. That trust, that's a trust. Got to understand that name in all caps is not just, we call it a straw man, but it is a trust, okay? It is a trust, and you're the beneficiary of that trust. And if you don't understand that you are a beneficiary you are the beneficiary of that trust, and the public officials are supposed to be acting as trustees for that trust, and you don't call that out, and you just indirectly, now, I mean, with your own ignorance, of course, you wouldn't know. When you go in the courtroom and you just kind of just do what they tell you to do. It's hard to get out of it. Not saying you can't get out of it. You just got to know how to, but just an affidavit alone, you got to do more than that. So to answer your question with that, Tony, you can't just use an affidavit and think you're just going to get all child support that easy. And not to try to insult you, but I gotta help you understand that you can't just you can't just try shit. You got to understand what they're doing. Understand the concept of what they're doing, Understand it. You can't just if you just try shit and they test you in a hearing or something like that and you don't know how to articulate what you're talking about, they're going to railroad you. They're going to always railroad you. That's just how they do it. It goes against contract law. It goes against the principles of contract law. But that's what they do. They do it because of your ignorance and your fear. Anytime you pressure somebody, you use duress or, threatening someone, any type of manipulation of some sort to scare somebody into agreement, that's ground for shutting down a contract in the first place. But that's another topic, another video. But there was another video. Hopefully I answered your question there, Tony. But there was another question that was asked. Say, how can you be on child support if they want the Social Security number, and the Social Security number does not belong to you. It belongs to the Social Security Administration. Well, that's because you're acting as a trust. That Social Security number is attached to the trust. It's assigned to the trust by the Social Security Administration by way of application. And you're acting as the trust. No living man or woman has a Social Security number. You're like I say, you are the beneficiary of that trust. You're supposed to take control of the straw man. This is one of the reasons I used to always tell people to register the name. That's one way of controlling the name. You have to take control of that name. If you go into, say, any attorney or judge, anybody that works for the state, and say they work for, say, they're in New York, an attorney in New York. You want to look up the name. If this dude don't get the hell on, he better ask me for shit. Like he ready to beg. Anyway, I'm outside a club. I'm just leaving the club. So I thought I'd make a video before I take my ass home. Okay. But I thought I'd step out and get me a little drink. And a little drink and some wings and sit back and people watch a couple of booties here and there. Take my ass back home. But anyway, I thought I'd make a video before I get to riding. But anyway, back to the topic. How can I say this? Like I say, no man or woman has a Social Security number. You have to know who you are in relation to that name. This is one of the reasons why I used to tell people to register the name. I got into I guess I can say it was like a debate with a guy. He used to be a YouTube subscriber back in 2019 when I had my other channel about registering the name, and he swore it didn't work. But people quick to try some shit, and they do it the way they want to do it instead of the way their state statutes tell them to do it. And then they say MRO shit didn't work. It ain't my shit. It's what the state told you to do. It's what your state statutes, according to your state process, to what they told you to do as far as registering a name, whether they call it a trade name, an assumed name, a DBA, regardless of which one they call it in your state, you're supposed to, if you're doing business with that name, you're supposed to have that thing registered. And we're not going to get on this topic where you talk about registering a name. When you register something, it's like giving it away. Who the fuck said that shit? There's no statute. There's no law. There's no law that says that. So I don't know where they get that from. If you look in any law dictionary and look up the word register, the legal definition of registering something means to record something. It means to record it. You want to record that thing. You put it on public record, like in the county recorder's office, for example. You're recording that you're putting on record that you are the natural person that's controlling the artificial person. You're doing business in the name of the artificial person, which is in all caps. The natural person is written in the upper lowercase in its proper style. That's what you're supposed to do when you're registering a name. According to here in Georgia, that's what you're supposed to do. In other states, they have different ways of doing it. You have to read your state statutes when it comes to registering that name, because you're doing business with that name. And when you do that, you can use that. You can get a certified copy of that recording to prove that you're the one that controls that name, and you're not the name. You're not acting as the name. And so, if you're acting as the name, and you're supposed to register the name. Basically, that's how you prove when you have actual beneficial interest in that case, in that over that name. You're the one that's supposed to benefit from that name. You're the one that have control over it, not the state. But if you don't do that, the state controls it. It's an abandoned name. The name is abandoned. So the guy, he decided to use it. He just basically tried to dismiss it. And to this day, he's still on child support. So he just wouldn't listen to what I was saying. So I just got off the phone with him. We hadn't talked since. It's been probably about a year, maybe about 2 years ago. But I tried to get him to understand that. So he was going a different route. So that's fine. Go a different route. Go your own way of doing it. But when you register a name, that's one way of taking control of the name. When you actually create a trust, you're actually taking control of the name. Because you're taking that straw man, you're taking the property of that straw man, that estate, and you're placing it inside your own private trust. You have to control it. When you take control, you know how it says own nothing, or control everything but own nothing, however they say it. It's the same thing. You got to take control of the name. Don't run from the name. Don't be scared of the name. Just take control of it. And when you take control over it, then the courts don't have control over it. And then you can move better because you're protected. That name is protected. And but anyway, hopefully I answered that question when the guy was talking about, the social security number. They want the social security number and it don't belong to you, it belongs to them. Hey, you're right, it don't belong to you. But when you go to court in a child support case and they want you to submit the financials, and you go submitting check stubs in there, you don't file no type of objection on the line. You're into the case. You file no objection into the court case. Of course, when you file anything in the court case, you also got to serve the opposing party. You can't just file it in the case and don't serve the other party. You have to make sure everybody communicates with everybody about what's going on in the case, what's being filed in the case. But when you don't file no objection in there, and then you don't even take control of the name, and then you go in there and you just give them check stubs, you basically indirectly you're telling them that this is me and this is how much I make. I is that name in all caps that's written on that check stub. I is in all caps that's written on that social security card. You giving them that name. That name that's the trust. It's a trust, and you're not making it known on the record and for the record that you are the beneficiary of that name. You're supposed to benefit from it, not be a slave to it. So until you understand who you are in relation to the straw man, the trust, the estate, the Cesta K trust, whatever you want to, whichever one you can understand that it is, then you'll always be a slave to that name. Don't be afraid of it being because it's a U.S. citizen. You're not a U.S. citizen. That trust is a U.S. citizen. The status of that name is a U.S. citizen. And you can still operate in that status if you just know who the fuck you are in relation to that name. You can be, the name can be a U.S. citizen, but you're the natural person. You're the natural person in relation to that name. Okay? You're the natural person in relation to that U.S. citizen. But you have to just take control of it. When you take control over it, they can't control you. You're not supposed to be one and the same with that name. Understand who you are in relation to the name. Hopefully I got a cry. I'm kind of ranting now, but it's really it's clear. It's plain. It's really plain as day. It's really, I just understand. I see it so clearly now. I didn't see it like that back in the day, and I can understand where some of you guys are standing. You got to stop listening to so many different people on the internet. Because even while I was learning, I had to detox not only from what I was taught coming up, but I had to detox again from the bullshit out here on the internet. You got some of these people out here teaching this shit. They're teaching all types of stuff and they making money off y'all based on y'all's fear, your ignorance, and you're desperate to get off of child support. You're desperate to win your case. So they monetizing it. They'll tell you any damn thing to get your money. I ain't charging nobody to talk to people. I probably will at some point, but right now I don't give a fuck about making money off people. I want to see people get free. So I don't have a problem talking about this shit. I still talk to people for free. I still talk to people on the phone all the damn time, explaining to them what it is what it is about this straw man, what it is about this concept. Y'all excuse this damn dude. This dude, you got an old head up in here. Let's flip this shit around and get his damn ride on. Shit. While I'm making my goddamn video. Just want everybody to hear his shit. I decided to leave early, man. The club it closed in another 35 minutes. And I thought I'd make me a little video. But this motherfucker he wants to be the loud motherfucker. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here, man. I don't want to sit here and rant. I done been going on for 15 minutes. But you have to just understand that you are the beneficiary of that name, okay? And whether it's a national, whether it's a U.S. citizen, whether it's an American Indian, whether it's a Caucasian, African American, whichever one that it carries, you're supposed to control that name regardless. If you control that damn name, you're supposed to control it. Take control of the name. When you take control of the name, you take control of your life. That simple. Emeralds, signing out.